Killer Instinct: How to Win in Life and Unleash Your Full Potential. Killer Instinct isn't just the name of an album from the heavy metal band Megadeth. It's also the ability to fight tooth and nail for what you want out of life and never ever give up. Whether you're competing against other people or simply trying to improve yourself, harnessing your killer instinct and learning how to win will increase your productivity and drive in all areas of your life and help you accomplish your goals quickly and efficiently. Fast forward through the agricultural revolution, the Bronze Age, the birth of civilization, the Crusades, the Renaissance, the moon landing, the World Wide Web, and to now, have we lost the same animalistic and instinctual hunger that ensured our early ancestors' ability to conquer incredible odds? Or is it still present and merely waiting for the prime moment to strike? It's innate, sleeping in our very DNA, is a killer like a lurking lioness in the grasses. However, it's inappropriate to openly discuss often being not quite out of time. Do you talk about yours? What is your killer instinct? As this word suggests, you're devoted, committed, and willing to keep going with persistence. This video will talk about how to unlock your intrinsic killer instinct. As a result of the successes of our ancestors, it's rare for a large majority of us to need to hunt and gather to survive. In other words, that killer instinct to strive for supremacy and prevail might lay dormant within most of us in the bustle of our daily lives. It does not mean, however, that we should forget about it. To clarify, the Oxford Dictionary defines killer instinct as the ruthless to succeed or win. There is a major distinction between these types of motor racing drivers: those who harness their killer instinct and those who don't. Let's compare a racing driver who is best at it and driver who is worst at it. First, we have the pacers, who aren't showing their true colors, their best stuff in racing yet. In the automotive world, the distinction between pacers and racers is important. Racers want to win, but to do so, they'll do anything to win. Meanwhile, pacers don't feel that way and would never put other racers in harm just to secure a victory. For example, the pacers hate losing, while the racers despise losing. If you tune in next time to a Formula One or NASCAR race, make sure to watch the interviews of those who didn't finish in the first place. They'll either be mildly regretful yet still pleased with their runner-up position, or they'll be disappointed and devastated as if losing was not an option. In a competition, pace setters hope the racers are satisfied with only a victory. Winning is critical to racers. Unmitigated necessity and bitter hatred of losing are what drives them to success. To make sure they win, they pay careful attention to everything and put relentless preparation in place. That is a person who succeeded in acting with unrestrained ferocity. But is it healthy to always behave in such a way? Simply put, there will always be a level of competition, regardless of its forms or context, and it's sometimes difficult to understand when it's a good time to put out all of the stops. People argue that it's overkill to display a killer instinct during a game of a soccer at the company team building. You can decide. As a rule, it's helpful to keep asking yourself whether you're enjoying yourself or not. But don't lose sight of the fact that a soccer game might be better enjoyed by everyone if it's not taken too seriously. In this sport, victory isn't important. Everyone is more interested in what's on the grill. Sometimes, when it comes to going back to work and drawing a sketch or drawing up ideas, and others are watching you, the intensity increases. This is because the person you're drawing isn't competing with you. So when the work intensifies, you'll have to fight and put in your best effort. Remember that some battles are worth the battle. At the same time, you also need to learn when to choose your battles. In other words, you must recognize the appropriate time to do so. In some cases, you need your killer instinct for an extended period. These bouts of creativity may linger for days or pop up every so often as you are creating a presentation or developing an idea. It can always be felt as if you're in the middle of completing a task and time is running out. Sometimes it can be a challenge to achieve the perfect way to do something the first time, like the lion in the grass waiting for the moment to strike. Don't let the strangeness of this metaphor scare you off. It's here to get your gears turning. Just think back the first time you tried to flip a pancake. There were probably a lot of mistakes and inedible pancakes. In the first trial, you may have had some concern that the pancake would fly too high and end up in the ceiling of the kitchen. As a result, the pancake barely moved off the frying pan. Instead, it folded over onto itself. On the second attempt, you might have given it too much credit and attempted to flip the pancake in the air, therefore, missing the pan entirely and decorating the stovetop at the same time. Lastly, after actually nailing the flip, you may have realized you did it too late, with the result of being a well done, not so perfect pancake. Mastering the art of flipping a perfect pancake may seem like an easy feat, but there's something much more meaningful to it. First, use your experience and your instincts to time the flip just right. Then, have a lot of confidence and be as delicate as possible when you flip it, as well as maintain your focus, which will make for a smooth without spilling it in the pan. Yeah, it takes practice, patience, and more practice. But if you practice the system over and over again, eventually you're going to have a system of flipping pancakes that can't be beaten. Getting the time right, following the appropriate procedure, and executing it successfully are three factors of killer instinct. When this can be applied to other scenarios, whether it can be driving a race car, writing an article, or giving a presentation, this all takes plenty of time. Certainly, failures and obstacles will happen when working for a knack for responding ruthlessly, but it is only a failure if you make it one. Rather than take a quick look at Thomas Edison, the most respected businessman and inventor of all time. He kept a positive attitude and proved to have a killer instinct mindset. Would you say he was remembered for being a failure? His rate of success when trying to create a light bulb was at least 1,000 times less than his rate of failure. It was 10,000 failures to one success. But that one success was extraordinary. And in a way, any of these failures can be thought of as successful if they had led to that win. Putting his perspective in context, Edison said, "I have not failed 10,000 times. I've succeeded in finding 10,000 ways that don't work." Likewise, the difficulty you experience and your emotional reaction to it will shape your character. The path will not always be clear and the traffic lights will never all correspond with greens. Keep on expecting the unexpected and adjust when necessary. When a new obstacle is encountered, like a newly constructed wall, adapt. Develop an effective technique for dealing with an obstacle by figuring out how to climb over it, circumvent it, or navigate around it. Then, put the skills to the test by finding an obstacle and taking care of it. Just in case your emotions start getting in the way, accept them, acknowledge them, but do not let them stand in the way of your success. Figure out how to use them as a motivation or just set them aside. Refrain from giving your emotions free rein. As Miyamoto Musashi said in the 16th century, no matter what stage of mind you're in, think only of cutting. In business, remember to harness your killer instinct. Think of it like in the world of competitive sports, it's fierce and a little bit brutal. Your opponents want to be smarter and work harder than you, so they can ensure that you don't succeed. They want to get to the top just as badly as you do. People who are always aware of the success of others are typically struggling themselves. And while not everyone is always like this, staying aware of others' triumphs is highly intelligent strategy. By adapting to obstacles, mastering your emotions, being decisive, being on the ball, understanding who you are, and knowing your opponent, you can achieve invincibility. Ultimately, your killer instinct isn't shameful and doesn't need to be avoided. It is deeply rooted in your DNA, so take care of it by applying it wisely and to its fullest potential. Try not to be nervous about it. Spend time talking with people about the type of training you want to do and the goals you have for yourself. Choose who you spend your time with wisely. Be selective. For those who do not want to see you succeed, find them unacceptable and turn them away. Losers concern themselves with the success of the victor, but the victor's priority is victory. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, like, and comment.